Yes, before I say my pitch, I think we need to show some video first. If I'm not mistaken. So let's watch this, and then we'll continue after that.
Introducing Lenovo's Thinkpad X1 Carbon Gen 10. With its enhanced air intake keyboard and 110mm glass touchpad, 2.8K OLED, and WQU XGA touch display options. The X1 Carbon has the new Intel 12 Gen U15 P28 CPUs with 20-watt design and 32 gigabytes of memory. This is where beauty meets performance. And with 5G and Wi-Fi 6E, the X1 Carbon has the industry's best connectivity. The X1 Carbon also comes with new FHD cameras housed in a communications bar with optional computer vision. The improved camera experience combined with Dolby Voice and iSafe certified low blue light displays gives hybrid work a whole new elevated experience. The X1 Carbon Gen 10 is the perfect business notebook. It's reliable, durable with a luxurious build and handy security features, all while pushing the limits with new technology. Great for anyone looking for both longevity and power.
All right, so maybe we can show the slide now. Oh, all right, so I guess there's nothing more to really say. You've seen the video. It practically tell you what you can expect from our X1 Carbon. But essentially, I'd like also to mention some of the key features of this product today. So if you go to the next slide. So there are three major features of our new ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10 series. So first and foremost is the uncompromised experience. So a while ago it was mentioned, it's really best in class. If you are a commercial user or a CEO or working for a business, this is really the laptop for you. With this audio and video enhancement, we call it Unified Communication Advances, highlighting the communications bar. So if you're currently you're into hybrid, you can always shut off, put it on with this navigation bar on top of the laptop. At the same time, it extends the battery life via AI and CV. So you can have at least about 12 hours of battery backup. And this is relatively excellent and more than expected for this new product that we have today. The next feature is really the lightweight leadership. So ito yung mga thin and light. So if you are on the go and to make sure you don't break your back. So this is something that for those users, especially, I'm not trying to be a feminist, but rather for our women in the call, this is a really ideal product for you because of the lightweight. So at least you can carry them on your bag, shoulder bag, or backpack in that essence. So it is really the lightest and best in class in terms of the weight on the ThinkPad Carbon X series. And of course, not to mention, the third feature is the leading edge design. Ultimately, it's very portable. You have seen, and it was explained, the different ports that the X1 Carbon has, and definitely it will give you more chance to expand. So if, for example, in your office today at Lenovo, we are implementing this open and hot desk, so to speak. So you can just come and then log into a particular desk. You don't have a permanent desk. So with this type of product or X1 Carbon, you can easily put this on, connect it with the different devices, for example, a monitor or an extra keyboard for that matter. And then, you can do your thing while doing other things, having a dual monitor in that effect. So essentially, this is very portable, and the design itself celebrates the unified communication. I think that's the main point that we would like to really emphasize on this particular new product. Not to mention the new Intel Adder Lake, processor that we have built in for the X1 Carbon, which includes the P28 and the U15. So If some of you are very technical, you would know the difference between the two processors. Essentially, the P28 would be your performance grade type of processors that can maybe run 14 cores, and the U15 is your I would say the second in line, which gives you 10 core processing power. Of course, with this, we also mentioned a while ago the air intake. So if you go to the next slide, I would probably give you more of this explanation. So, like I've said, this is redesigned laptop. It's a powerhouse performing with performance boosted features. Yet it comes with ultra thin and ultra light form factor. As you know, gaya sinabi ko kanina, it's ideal for new gen professionals. I would consider myself maybe middle of that new gen, no? And essentially for those that are really coming out for new features, lightweight type of product, and this will be your ideal laptop. Powered by, of course, the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors, the fastest CPU in the market today, with can up to you can have a 2 terabyte SSD storage, so a maximum of 2 terabyte SSD storage and 32 gigabyte of RAM, as mentioned a while ago. Battery life can live you to about 13 hours. So which means you can really work anywhere, full day, without needing to worry about power outlet. Now, I mentioned also the air intake keyboard supports. So this is really more of an extra cooling, no? On a server, normally you have all this air cooling systems, but because with the 12th gen processors of Intel, of course, it radiates more power, more heat. With this technology that we call air intake, it gives you extra cooling from outside. It's I don't know what another word for it. Sucks the cool air, from outside and try to cool the CPU inside. So that's one of our new technologies that we call today the air intake keyboard found on the keyboard itself. So at the same time, I also mentioned a while ago the P28 and U15. So this is really a thermal design power to ensure that your system will not really turn out to be too hot because of this new processing power, but rather keeps it very still cool as you go along with your work. Now, you have a choice with a P28 or a U15. So depende na lang yan kung gaano mo, what performance type of function that you are normally doing in everyday work. Now, especially for media people, sometimes you have to create your news and again, forgive me, I'm not too familiar on this one, but at least with this laptop, you can go anywhere and on the go, so to speak. So with this, you can easily relay whatever news that you have to put to send to your main office for them to print or to digitize and make it online. So with this faster performance type of notebook, then you can do that on the fly. It also comes with comprehensive security solutions. So if you notice a while ago, yung shutter, camera shutter, so that's also to protect the user for privacy, especially when you're doing calls or meetings. No, sometimes we tend to forget that when we are in Zoom calls, we sometimes forget that our camera is on. So with this shutter, camera shutter, it will prevent that. Any embarrassing moments that you might be showing while you're in a virtual call. And of course, also with the Smart Power on touch fingerprint, users can boot up and log in simultaneously. So it's a computer vision human presence detection locks the device also when you walk away. So kasama na yan. So for example, you forgot to either lock your system or control alt lock, may control, diba, to lock your monitor. With this one, if you set it up, then even if, for example, you walk away, it will notice that the user is no longer within the perimeter of the laptop. So it will automatically detects that and locks the screen for you. And with the range of ports, as mentioned a while ago, including Thunderbolt 4, it has also have two USB 3.2 and HDMI ports. And it connects to multiple peripherals as well as experience faster downloads with a quick file transfer. So minimal preloaded applications means maximum battery life, responsive for users, and faster development especially for IT administrators. No? It comes also with an optional V1, W1, but today I think the market is not ready yet for 5G, but it's an option that is available in the future. No? And of course, the enhanced BIOS feature is a ThinkShield. That is a Lenovo software that helps make sure you are protected with any possible malware or breach within your system. So the ThinkShield can prevent those unsolicited, sometimes emails or phishing emails that sometimes destroys your drives and all. So with ThinkShield, you can command how you would like your laptop to be shielded from this intrusive malware and whatever virus that you have today. So if you move to the next slide, this is just to give you a snapshot of the current Gen 10. So again, it's a perfect business notebook, but again, not only that, for students who are into, for example, architecture, or I would say needs more power in terms of their usage, then this can also be a good laptop for you. So it comes with up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, as you can see here. I will not read through that. And of course, the hybrid work enhancement. Again, the full HD cameras are there to give you a perfect look. So I don't know if you can see my face, although I'm using an X13, but I would see that there is, paano ko ba sabihin to? Filter na agad eh. I'm not doing any filter, but when I see my face, it seems like it's a bit smooth, no? So what I'm trying to say is the camera really gives you that flexibility and hopefully gives you a better look when you're into a virtual call with that new full HD camera house with a communication bar again. So easily, if there's a call, you can just press one button and then you're on the call already. And of course, it comes with Dolby Suite, Dolby Atmos, Dolby voice speakers, which on the side panels are where it's located. And of course, the low blue light displays with they say eye safe certification. So like right now I'm wearing eyeglasses, so it prevents me from too much glaring. So again, those are customizable as you make use of the laptop. If you go to the next slide, this is just to probably mention the accolades that we have received from this world-renowned broadsheets, like PC World, Tech, Ares, Gizmodo, Tom's Hardware. So they really talk about our X1 Carbon and how it has been in terms of getting some awards from our press and from these reputable organizations. And lastly, just to give you a snapshot and comparing if you go to the next slide, this is just to compare the previous generation, the G9 X1 Carbon versus the G10. So if you notice you would see the bold blue font. That is the difference between our previous predecessors with the G10 today. So like I've said, this is really all powered using the Intel Alder Lake new processors, 12 Gen. So you have a choice between a P28 and a U15. So by definition, the 28 is just the watts. And then the 5th, of course, it says P28 because it needs more power. And you can extend and you can use like 14 cores. But again, those are really kumbaga extremes naman, no? But what we're saying, we have all those offers that you can choose from. And then the rest that you see here, the blue font, is really the differences between the previous generation versus. So you can imagine if the first product, the X1 Carbon, was for more professional, high performance type of users, this Thinkbook 14 Yoga, our new Thinkbook 14 Yoga Gen 2, is really for, I would say, very stylish people who are also on the go and who would like to impress whenever they use their laptops. No? And as you can see here in the video, I would say it's really very commanding, no? When it comes to the look and feel, the way it turns around as 360 and convert it to be a tablet. Now, if you notice, it's also thin and light. No, and this is more of the Thinkbook series. So we have the ThinkPad, which is our classic series, and we have this Thinkbook series, really positioned for those more people who are on the go, marketing people, advertising people, so who are normally are on, make have to make use of a tablet, but at the same time convert that into a more a performing type of laptop. So with this ThinkBook 14 Yoga, like I've said, it's a very thin and light. It's about 3.3 pounds. It has integrated pen, so it's already there. Unlike previously, the pen is an option, and sometimes you get to lose it. But this time, it's already there's a slot within the on the side of the laptop that you can just insert the pen. Although again, it's an option. It also has a Corning touch glass Gorilla Glass. I don't know if for sure our techie media in the call knows this already. I will not expound it, but essentially, in my capacity many years back, I used to tap on the glass, and normally that's how we sell it. No, the proposition, selling proposition. It's really very sturdy, even if you knock on it. Although hopefully you don't bang it, but it doesn't really crack. No, that gesture. And of course, the four sides narrow bezel, because nowadays we would like as much as possible to have a bigger screen. So with this ThinkBook Yoga, you will have and experience that for narrow bezel. As it says, it's 86 STB ratio. And of course, the sidings, no, you've seen in the video the way it looks. So maybe if you go to the next slide, I will probably mention that more. So as you can see, so it says here, why buy me? No? So again, like I've said, it has good user experience, powerful computing, because it has also the latest 12 Gen Intel Core processors, faster SSD and RAM, and of course, impressive design. If you go to the next slide, you would see the different ports that we have on this particular product. So it has also a diamond cut fingerprint on the side. So yung nakalagay yung FPR on power. So you can also record your fingerprint, and by sliding your fingerprint on it, it will turn on. And then of course the hinge. So we made it better today, so that at least you can always convert it, use it as a tablet at any point in time, how many times you want to use it. And of course, the two-tone, ito nga yung sinasabi ko, very slick, no? For those users who are would like to impress, no? Whenever they're out of the office, in the coffee shop and all, with the slick two-tone, it's really very, I would say, pleasing to the eyes, if I may say. Now, if you go further down to the next slide, this will show you, go to the next slide, please, the ports that you can have. So you can have a card reader. So for example, you're a photographer or a digital artist. You like taking photos, you like to edit it, just take it out, plug it in. It's automatically downloaded. You have an USB. And then of course, key lock. So if you're in the office, you want to lock it, there is that capability. It has also HDMI and another USB port on the other side. Now, it has also a combination of headsets and of course Noble hold for very, I would say, what's this? Okay, it's basically a different type of headset for you to use. Now the thin, if you notice, is 16.9 millimeters, so it's also very thin. So at least you can carry it wherever you go. And not to mention that it's very impressive in terms of performance for enhanced productivity. So it comes with the latest technology, which is Alder Lake processor from Intel. It also has Dolby Vision display, as mentioned in the video. It also includes Wi-Fi 6E, although some of which are options. It's also designed to impress and adapt, as mentioned a while ago. So we set the trend. So the two-tone is something that, in a way, makes it more classy, make it more current, no, and of course relevant at the end of the day. It's also ultra portable and has a four-side narrow bezels. And then in terms of being smart and intuitive, it has multiple user modes. So the Lenovo ThinkPad, Thinkbook Yoga can always be bend and adapt to your needs. So the fluid form that you see a while ago, the 4 user modes, a laptop can be a tablet, can be a tent, or when you want to present. So you can do that 4 user modes. It lets you turn any space into a workspace. When we say smart pen, the pen that is also attached to it, you can do sketches. You can do the sketch on the fly. You can show your clients if you are a designer. So you can do a lot of things with this ThinkBook. And of course, it has enhanced user experience. So the glance is an AI-powered glance by Merometrics. It senses face, eyes, and gaze to enhance your work experience. So for example, kumbaga medyo nasisilaw ka na, I guess that will help in a way temper maybe the brightness of the screen while ensuring user privacy. So it uses IR and RGB camera for presence direct detection and privacy. Similar to the X1 Carbon, it also detects if you're going away from your laptop, then it automatically locks down, meaning at least the screen for that matter. And then fluid navigation. The full touch screen, again, it's an option. There's 2 options, either touch or non-touch, in a phone-like on-screen keyboard. So it enables intuitive navigation and improved touch mode interface. And lastly, the effective collaboration. I've also spoken about it in our ThinkPad X1 Carbon. It's also being led to almost all our line of laptops, the effective collaboration, because it can boot your device by just opening the lid. Oh, and of course, if you are on hyper mode, once you open the lid, then it will automatically turn on. In upscale image quality for clearer visuals, and the whisper voice cancellation. So if you're familiar with noise cancellation, the laptop itself has this productive built-in whisper voice cancellation on mics. So if you are in a crowded place and you're in a meeting, so not to show that you are not in the office, at least with this whisper voice cancellation, it cancels out the other noise in the background. So at least you can focus and they can hear you well when you are presenting, like what I'm doing today. Okay, so that's basically some of the features of the ThinkBook Yoga Gen 2. If you go to the next slide, this is just to give you a detailed specs. And then if you go to the next slides also, the comparison between the previous Gen and then the Gen 2 today. So the green font here and bold font is the difference between our first Gen to our second Gen. So not much has really changed, but I think what is important is the look and feel, and of course the camera. Right now, it has an option for a 1080 pixel with dual array digital mic. So it means you can have a better graphics or better look on what we are doing and how they can see you in effect. So like I've said, I don't know if I'm using a 1080p, but essentially when I look at myself in Zoom, it seems that all the other blemishes is taken out. So anyway, so that's basically one of the features of this camera. And of course, OS. So we have Win 11 and Win 11 downgrade. So if you buy this and your company is not yet on Windows 11, then that's option for you to downgrade. And later on, once your company is already up and about for Windows 11, then you can just return it to Windows 11. Okay, so that's basically the description, the features of our new ThinkBook Yoga. Now, for the next portion of the show is really more of our flagship. Actually, this particular launch is really focusing more on our next product. Our new ThinkCentre Neo looks like. And this is really the main launch of today's session. And to just give you the difference or why we're doing this, we're now trying to get, if you are familiar with our B50s before, our entry-level desktops, it was really named more of the Lenovo brand. But today, what we're trying to do is really encapsulating all this into the ThinkCentre brand. So even our entry level now is a ThinkCentre product in itself. So that's good news for all of you, especially for our customers who are into growing their business. So if you go to the next slide, it's really raising the bar for growing business, as I just mentioned to you now. So it's essentially, it says here, just a study conducted by, of course, Lenovo with of course, some industry standard companies. 63% of customers wants to increase the productivity by, of course, using emerging technologies, because I think we've gone a long way from really starting with a very, I would say, robust machine that we thought can last us for centuries and all. But with this technology emerging and rampant changes in technology, we felt that customers are really looking for more increase in terms of not just productivity but also efficiency. Second is customers are driven by the need to reinvent themselves. I mentioned a while ago being relevant. Nowadays, every one of us has to be relevant. Otherwise, the companies doesn't really need us anymore if we're no longer relevant. So with this one, we drive innovation and enable long-term resiliency. And thirdly is 70% of our customers want partnership with suppliers like us or our partners, business partners, that are capable of supporting the roadmap and to a future-ready organization. So some of those priorities is really, like I've said, improve workforce productivity, drive effective collaboration, and which is now very important, saving our earth, commit to reduce environmental impact. So what we have with this ThinkCentre is really giving you all these three top business priorities that our customers are asking for. So if you go to the next slide, essentially it says, amidst this modern demand, desktop are still highly relevant. I know in the past 2 years, desktop has been probably set on the side because majority of us are working from home outside of the office is because of this pandemic. But today we are going, slowly but surely back to the office, and some of us are doing hybrid. So that's why the desktop are still very highly relevant today. In fact, 71% of SMEs are saying employees use desktop as the main device. And of course, desktops are deployed because of their superior performance, connectivity, different ports, increase cost effectiveness, and enhance security. Because of course, if it's in the office, a desktop, then it easily can be secured easily, And the worlds of work and technology may be changing, but desktops are not really getting left behind. So if you go to the next slide, this is just to let you know that desktops are better suited to address specific needs. So I mentioned productivity, I mentioned sustainability, I also mentioned service delivery, but there's other needs that has to be addressed, especially, for example, the form factors. So if you have a very small office, you can have a choice of form factors with our desktops. Cost considerations, desktops can be made with a smaller investment, which is very affordable for the initial price, as compared to your laptop. In terms of serviceability, it's also, I would say, easier to maintain and to expand. If you want to expand now, you can just open the lid, put in a new hard drive and all, and on the fly sometimes. And it's not as hard as expanding your laptop. So desktop are still, I would say, is here to stay. In fact, IDC is saying that this year, the desktop and laptop for SMB market is almost 50-50. So you can imagine there's a really drive for desktops from our customers. If you go to the next slide, the main point that I'd like to really emphasize here is really more of the sustainable future, because everyone can give you a fresh modern design, right? Which we have with our ThinkCentre flavors or lineup. And it can and we also have all around collaboration. Maybe some of the other brands will not have this, but with Lenovo, with ThinkCentre Neo, we have this expanding collaboration, having multiple connectivity and enhanced sharing capability. But more importantly is the sustainable future. I have two kids. One is just graduating and the other one is still in grade school. But essentially, what do we want for our children is to, of course, save the environment. which is why today our system is more eco-friendly, as I would say. In fact, as you can read here, the computer using ocean-bound plastic. So 85% PCC resin and painting-free raw materials. So we are, as much as possible, using sustainable raw materials to make up or develop our design and come up with our desktop. So if you go to the next slide, this is really giving you the classic versus modern, no? So it's like the classic meets modern because of the aesthetics and the look and feel of the product. If you go to the next slide, I will. This will definitely explain what I meant by classic and modern. So ThinkCentre. So we have the ThinkCentre as one brand for all our desktops. So if you are familiar with our high-end ThinkCentres before, which is basically has these three features that you see on screen, for the ThinkCentre Neo, we added, three more features, essentially making you more productive by giving you the latest and greatest CPU or generations of Intel Core processors. Collaboration again. So we included the smart collaboration that we had or I spoke about in our Thinkbook and Thinkpad. We were also added that to our ThinkCentre Neo. We're in with a smart keyboard for seamless collaboration across devices. It has also an AI meeting manager, so and voice interaction. And lastly is the sustainability. So that's essentially what we're trying to really promote, in our system. So if you go to the next slide, this is just to give you, again, ThinkCentre Neo, redefining collaboration eco-friendliness. So again, we are trying to be more responsible in our environment. And by doing this, I think we can get to a better future for our kids and for future generations. So just to give you a quick snapshot of the family, if you go to the next slide. So on the left, you would see our entry levels. So the ThinkCentre. So this is the new branding that we have today. And of course, on the right is our ThinkCentre Classic, so to speak, because this is where we started with our performance desktop. So if you are an SMB, probably you can take a look at our Neo. But if you are progressing to an enterprise type or grade of environment, then maybe also you can look at our ThinkCentre M. So the difference basically is the value for money for our ThinkCentre Neo. But having said that, it doesn't gives you less of what you can get from a ThinkCentre M, right? So if you go to the next slide, so this is just to show you the portfolio of our ThinkCentre Neo. So we have two form factors for the Neo 50, which is a small form factor, and the Tower form factor. Both are using the latest Intel chipset, which is Alder Lake. And then it's optimized for workspace if you're looking at a small form factor. But if you would like more ports, more upgrades, where you can upgrade, then you can go for the Tower 50T, so to speak. So it's really engineered for productivity. And of course, we have the all-in-one, the 30A and the 50A. So it's really more of giving you a better, I would say, size in terms of the product. But at the same time, lessens the clutter in your desk space if you want to choose an all-in-one. Okay, so it comes with an enhanced collaboration with an intuitive AI-based online meeting experience. And then if you go to the next slide, this is just to show you. Sorry, I've been repeating what I just said in the previous slide, but that's basically our point, is to emphasize these features of our Neo and why choose ThinkCentre Neo. Again, modern look. Siyempre, gusto natin, pa-impress tayo palagi. And of course, we want to get the latest and greatest in the market. Performance-wise, so it comes with the 12th gen. Security, similar to our laptops, we have the ThinkShield compliance as well with the ThinkCentre Neo. And then, of course, collaboration, and then you have manageability, and more importantly, it's the green environment. So it's very compliant to all the standards set, just to be eco-friendly. And lastly, if you go to the next slide, the features that stands out, which again, I already mentioned it in the previous slides a while ago. Can we go to the next one? So this is just to, on the next slide, is give you more snapshots on the different form factor. This one that you see here is our small form factor. And then on the second one, on the second slide, is our tower. So essentially, it has, if you look at the design, so it's more, they say a modern terrazzo semi-design, 85% PCC, which is basically eco-friendly. That's what we're saying. And then to go to the next slide is essentially the roadmap. So hopefully you can see where we're headed from where we came from in January this year. And June of this year, we're releasing, or we have released the all-in-one. But essentially, this is our roadmap for this ThinkCentre Neo. Okay? I think that's about it for the ThinkCentre.